So this is a piece fresh off the needles, and you can see it doesn't look great. The stitches are all enlarged, and here at the join where the colors were, one color met another, you've got some gaping holes. So even though we don't need to weave in ends, you do want to secure that first stitch. So we pull the center one through, lock that first stitch in. So you want to just use duplicate stitch. And just once or twice if you want is sufficient. And just let it go. The same thing with down here where you have some big gaps. Just take one of the tails and secure one. Just do duplicate stitch through one of these to secure it. Come in here. Okay, this is actually as hot as my water is going to get. So just going to put in a little bit just to give the soap, just to let my soap get soapy. But it's not hot enough to felt. So I want to throw my pieces in and pour boiling water on top. We're going to let these soak until the fibers saturate. A good indication of this is when they've sunk down to the bottom of the sink. And we're going to get some more boiling water and have your bowl of ice water ready as well. Okay, so after the fibers are saturated and they've gone to the bottom, then we want to start agitating them. If the water is too hot and it bothers you, and you can wear rubber gloves and you have rubber gloves, it's probably helpful to do so. I can't wear them, I don't have them, so I just deal with the hot water. So when you're rubbing, if you have two pieces, rub them together on both sides. If you just have one, you can just rub it together and be as aggressive as you can. You can rub them in the water, makes it a little bit messier. You can knead it also on the side of the sink like you would dough. I find just rubbing them better. And this is the felting. This is the part where your fabric is going to change. It's the combination of the heat, the water, and the agitation that opens up the fiber scales. And as they're agitated, they grab onto one another. This is also the time when your piece will shrink. If you're using a washing machine, you may need to run this through 2 or 3 cycles. I have a high efficiency washer that honestly doesn't really agitate like this. It just swirls. So I have a hard time getting it done in the washer. You might, if you don't want to do this process, which does take time and more effort, then you might want to try it in your washer, run it through 2-3 cycles, and then if it still isn't the size and the look that you want, you can finish it off by doing this part by hand. But you can see already, I don't know if you can see it, it's starting to take a little bit of a fuzzy look. Once you've done this for a few minutes, 2, 3, 4 minutes, the water will be cooling off as well. Then it's time to put it in the cold water. You're gonna have a bowl of ice water handy. The ice water stops the felting process. It causes the fibers to close into a tight, matted fabric. Here's our piece now. I did one with the slip stitch, and I did one without slip stitching, just circles. So every place that the pattern says to do slip stitches, I just knit around. And so it's starting to felt, meaning I can see it's a little hazy, but it's not the size I want. So it goes back in the hot water. Let's drain a little bit of this water because it is cooling off. Okay, let's put it back in the water. Add another kettle full of boiling water. If you have rubber gloves on, you can start working on this right away. If it's too hot for you to handle, then let it sit for a little bit. Okay, time to agitate some more. The water is okay enough to handle. And you're just going to keep rubbing and agitating. There is nothing exact. This is where it's really a matter of personal preference. What you want to do is keep working on this until, one, the piece is the size that you want, because it's going to continue to shrink as you agitate, and as you sit it in the hot water, it's going to continue to get smaller. So stop the process when it's the size you want, and also pay attention to the stitch definition. It should take on a really nice, fuzzy, hazy, matted look, like a boiled wool. When you pull it apart, you can't really see. So here's my size. It's still a little big, I think, for a coaster. I don't have mugs that big. I want it to be smaller, so I'm going to keep working on it. But for the stitches, you can see how it's looking pretty good. The edges, I can still see individual stitches. But on the inside, not as much. But it's still not there, so I still need to keep working on this. Since my edges had a little more stitch definition, I want to pay extra attention to these edges. Keep dunking it in the hot water because that is as important as the agitation. I do this for about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm going to place them immediately in an ice water bath. And this stops the felting process, causes all the fibers to close in tight, creates that matted fabric look. It gets that sort of a stiffness. It's still not where I want it, so I'm going to drain some of this water. Have your kettle ready with more boiling water. And add our swatches back to another hot boiling water bath. I'm going to leave those sit for a couple minutes, and then we'll come back to do some more agitating. Once your pieces are the size that you want, and once the look is what you want, I've got sort of a hazy overall matted fabric. You can see it'll hold the shape. So if it's a little lopsided and odd shape, don't worry about that because you're going to fix that during blocking. What you want to look for now is just the look of the fabric and the size. Once that's good, put it one last time in your ice bath. Now it's really stiff. This is what we want. I'm going to wrap it in some towels, a towel, and just squeeze out the water. You don't want to wring it dry. You just want to press out that water. Now let's go reshape it and block it. Before we block it, let's clean up the ends, because you see how they're matted? They'll create a little bump at the bottom. So if we pin this down, we could end up with a little bit of a wobbly fabric. You can do it at the end too if you want, but it's felted now. This was our center. You're gonna trim it really close to the fabric. You just don't want, and you see how these all became tangled, all these became matted. This is why you don't want really, really long ones. This was my cast on tail. The nice part about felting is that you don't have to worry about mistakes because your stitches are not going to show up. Your stitch definition definitely does not show up. And if you felted your fabric properly, you can even cut it. So don't worry about cutting it too close. It'll stay. Okay. This one looks pretty good. There's a little bump there. This is where you want to sort of stretch them into place. If you're doing anything like hats or slippers or mittens, try them on your body to reshape them. This one's a little more, we need, like, there's a flat edge here. Can you see that? Or a little bump there. You just want to even it out before we pin it down. However you shape it is how it's going to stay. So if there's something that needs to be corrected in the shaping, just tug it really hard until you get it the shape you want. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then just pin it in place. Honestly, this one's not moving anywhere. I probably don't even need to pin it, but I know if I pin it down, I don't have to worry. It's going to stay exactly where I want it. The edges are going to lay nice and flat. Like this.